All right. This is going to be a quick video that just covers the basics of taking or creating a model rather in Modo and prepping it and bringing it over into Unreal. Um, Modo is actually a fantastic tool for architecture or spatial projects. And this scene right here is a current project of mine, um, basically developing a 3D model from CAD drawings that is going to be used as a full 360 rendering in Unreal. And it's a extremely versatile modeling program. Does everything from hard surfaces to very organic forms. Um, and I'm going to just do a quick demo on one of the workflows that I typically use when I'm working on a project like this. Um, so what I'm going to do is create a new scene, and we're going to kind of start from scratch. So the first thing that I would say, let's bring back the grid here. First thing that I would point out is there's a lot of ways to do this, but this is one of my more common methods. I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to use a tool right here called the pen tool, and it's under polygon, or I should say the type I've got selected is polygon. And there's this nice little feature called wall mode. And if I turn that to either inner or outer and set the offset to determine the wall thickness, right here I can create some walls pretty quickly. And one thing that I use in this workflow is snapping. So you can see up at the top there's the snapping button, and the letter X will toggle that on and off. And these are the snapping modes right here. So right now it's currently on vertex. I'm going to switch it over to grid, and I'm going to take advantage of this grid that we have displayed. So I'm looking straight down. I'm in the top view, and currently the grid is saying 60 inches. And what that means is each one of these little gray squares is 5 feet. So I'm going to zoom in, and then now the gray square becomes 24 inches. Now there's 10 of these per larger square, so that gives me 20 feet um, per large square. And so I'm just going to do a really simple structure. I'm going to click here, click here, click here. And you can see that as I'm clicking, the wall mode is generating a polygon for me. So I'm just clicking on various points along the grid, and I will probably stop there. So now that I have this polygon strip laid out, I can go into perspective, and I'm going to go into polygon mode. I'm going to turn off snapping, and I'm going to hit Shift X and click. Grab that handle a little funny. Let's grab it the right way, and I'm going to drag this up to be maybe 10 feet. And now I have my walls. So it's a really quick method to generate walls. And now I need some windows. So I'm going to go into edge mode, and I'm going to hit Alt-C for loop slice. Double that, symmetry, scale these to where I want. This is going to be sort of the height of my windows. This is sort of a generic setup here, really. And now I need some vertical separation. So I'll Alt-C right there. Maybe I'll do one big bay window right there. Maybe along this one I'll do several. So I'll do the same thing. Alt-C. This time I'll change it to uniform. Put the count to 8. And that should work pretty well. And now if I want to generate some windows, all I have to do is grab both the inside and outside polygon and bridge. And I did that kind of quick, mainly because I have a hotkey for the bridge tool. But to show that kind of, again, if you just pick this one on the outside and the one facing it on the inside, go to polygon and use the bridge command and click, you can get window cut out for you, and then there's still like the interior walls. Now you'll notice when I'm doing this that the inner surfaces are at an angle. Now the reason for this is that when you do a loop slice, this time I'll just do one to kind of demonstrate this. When I do a loop slice, and I'll put this on free, you'll see that as I slide it towards the corner, it's going to take on this more angled position, whereas if I keep it more towards, say, the middle, it starts to straighten up, right? So it's kind of averaging between the ends. Okay. So there's a quick fix for this. All I need to do is double click an edge, hit R for scale, make sure that negative scale is turned off, and then I'm going to scale it to 0. So you can see now in scale X, it's 0. So from a top view, let's do like the end one. I'll go here, go to top. You can see it's at this angle mimicking the corner. All I have to do is hit R, grab the red handle for X, scale it flat, right? So I just go around and do that really quick. And there's an even fancier method to do these all at once, but that'll be in another video. I'm going to keep this really simple. All right, so now, oh, I think I did those. I shouldn't have, so I'm going to leave these alone. So now I have these bays that I can go and bridge very quickly. Right. And I've got my windows and I got my walls. So now I need a floor. So I'm going to rotate over, and this time I'm going to hit the letter N for a new mesh, and I'm going to go ahead and name it floor. And it's gray. You can see there's the letters are gray, so that means it's empty because I haven't made anything yet. But now what I'm going to do is go back to the pen tool. This time I'm going to turn off wall, and then I'm just going to have it on polygon mode. I'm going to turn snapping back on, and I'm going to switch to vertex. So now I just need to snap to the outside points of my wall. It'll look pretty twisted in the beginning, and then now we have, let me make sure I got that one right. I did. Now we have one continuous polygon for the floor. Now it happens to be reversed. It's visible on the bottom, can't see it on the top. So I'm going to grab it, hit F to flip, and now I have it. So with that in place, I turn snapping off, Shift X, click, and drag down however much. I'll do 5 inches just to be consistent. Now I have a floor. So if I want to, I can then take this floor, hit W for item mode, make sure duplicate mode is on duplicate, hit W, and let's see, there we go. Now I'm going to hold down Control and Shift while I drag and lift up my new ceiling. So if I pick this, now it says floor 2. I'm just going to rename it ceiling. And the way to get this to snap directly to that corner works like this. Go into polygon mode, pick everything, hit W, and turn on snapping. You're on vertex snapping. Just pick your point, pick your corner here, and the tool will snap to it. Then just grab that and drag it, and it'll snap right to the corner. So now I have my cool little architecture house sort of thing, and I'm just about ready to go to Unreal. Now, one thing that I'd still like to do on this is make sure that the UV maps are good, which is going to have a role in how the materials are applied to this, to these objects. So I'm going to go over to UV, and I'm going to select the ceiling, And in the UV editor, you want to keep in mind that colors are generally bad. So orange, yellow, and red, they refer to issues with the UV map overlapping itself. So this is super simple, and this is another video to really kind of explain this whole workflow. But for now, all you need to do is stay in item mode. So I don't have vertices, edges, or polygons selected. I'm just in item mode. I pick the ceiling. I come over here to the top left, hit project, and then the tool properties, which should automatically show up. If you don't see them, hit the letter K. The tool properties should show in the projection type atlas. So once that's there, now what I have is a UV map that is kind of like the unwrapped version, the 2D version of my 3D object. So right now this piece represents the top, this represents the inside or the bottom. So all I have to do is just repeat this. So I click this and I hit H to hide, click the walls, click project, looks good. Hit space to drop the tool, hit H to hide, and then repeat one last time. Okay. So now I'm going to hop back to Modo and I'm going to hit 5 and U to unhide everything. Now, one thing I forgot to cover, I'm going to hide both the floor and the ceiling by hitting H. One thing I forgot to cover is that it's a good practice for Unreal to break up your walls into multiple sections. Like you could have one continuous snake-like wall and it would work, but it will work a lot better if you break it into pieces. So this is actually really easy. All we have to do is go into polygon mode, and I'm going to lasso select that section. I'm going to lasso select this section, maybe this one, and maybe this one. And I'm going to cut them. I'm going to hit Control X, then I'm going to hit the letter N, and I'm going to hit Control V. And then autosave just kicked in while I did that. So now I'm going to name this Walls 1. Okay. So now if I go into item mode, pick the other original mesh, and I just need to name it Walls, or I was going to say Walls 2, but let's go with Walls. So now I have multiple sections. I would probably normally take this even further. Like I would probably go and lasso select just these back walls, and I would cut them, Control X, then hit N, and then Control V to paste, and I'd say back wall, okay? Or whatever you want to name it. So now I hit 5 and the letter U to unhide everything, and now I'm totally ready to go over into Unreal. So the first thing I'd want to do is save this, save as. I'm going to save over a sample that I did a while ago. And just in typical fashion, I want to mention one more thing that I forgot, and that is materials. So right now, if I hide the ceiling, it might be the case that I want the outside material on this wall, on these walls, to be different than the inside. So a way to easily do that, this is one of the great things about Modo, is that I can just select these polygons, hit the letter M, and give it a name. So I'll call it W1 for outside, and I'll say OK, and it's going to assign a material. And then I can do that again. So I could go here and hit M. I could say, W2. Now your menu is going to look a little different. You're actually going to have to go in and change a color manually and give it a name. I've got this little plugin that sort of assigns a random color, which makes it kind of quick and easy. Now if I have those, I can hit M, and I'll just go with the same material on that one, and then on the back I'll pick this as the item, and I'll pick these polygons, hit M, and this will be W3. Right, so now you can see I can just go in and apply as many different materials as I want nice and easily, and when I go into Unreal, these will be preserved. I'll be able to have a single object with one material for the outside and one material for the inside. Said that backward as opposed to how I was showing it. So that's the little wall structure, mini house, if you will. And notice that each of these layers or these items has a specific name. You don't want to leave it with the generic like mesh, mesh 2, mesh 3, mesh 4. It's going to be to your benefit later on when we're in Unreal to have these specifically named. And it's not just in terms of you knowing what's what or your organization. There's another trick that you can take advantage of when these names or when these items are specifically named. Okay? And I'm going to show that in the next video. But the last thing that I'm going to show now is how to get this into Unreal. So I just saved this as a regular modo file, sample.lxo. Now I'm going to go to the game layout. And chances are, if you haven't used the game layout before, it probably looks like this. And we don't really need to worry about this view. In fact, I never use it. So you just need to put your mouse right here in the left corner and hit the 0 button on your numeric keypad. Don't hit the 0 at the top of the keyboard. It's the 0 on the far right. And it'll just maximize your window. Okay. So now that I've got this, all I need to do is come up to the bar over on the left and check the FBX preset. Make sure it says export all, and then under FBX preset I'm going to choose Unreal Static, and then I'm going to hit export as. Once I do that, I just give it a name, hit save. If you get a message about material tags, don't worry about it, just hit no, and we're done. So now this file has been saved as an FBX file, and it will open in Unreal without any issues, and you'll be ready to start rendering. Now, keep in mind that Unreal pays attention to the origin, right? So where X and Z cross right here, Unreal recognizes that. So when you import, when you bring in your model into Unreal and you position all of the elements to 0, 0, 0, it will place this model in the exact same spot it is in Modo, right? So what you don't want to do is bring this into Unreal and then move this somewhere else like that later, because then it's going to screw up your relationship between the two programs. So that's it for this, and this is sort of an extra video for those interested, and I'll do a part 2 of this within the next couple days regarding the next steps in Unreal. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later.